Hey guys, welcome to the sixth episode of Coffee with Impetus, where we drink coffee and just talk random crap, sometimes shop. But today we have Rob Bricola with us from Pro Drains, and he is here to share his experience of his crazy drain clean that we see every day. So, Rob, tell us a little bit about yourself and let the audience know what you do.
So I am Rob Broccolo, Pro Drains, owner operator of Professional Drain Services of Southern New England LLC. We do everything sewer and drains in Rhode Island, Connecticut, and some parts of Mass.
Nice. So, how long have you been plumbing, Rob?
About 10 years. So I worked for a local plumber for I think a year and a half, and then I got laid off for like 6 months, and then I went back for 5 years. And then while I was there, obviously as the apprentice, I always got all the shit calls and all the drain calls and everything. And at the time, our it was called A&L Plumbing, and one of the partners was selling out to go work somewhere else. And my father has a lot of real estate. You know, he's pretty wealthy, and he asked the owner. He said, "Look, you want me to buy the other half of the company, and my son will be your partner." And I don't think he liked the fact that his partner was going to be his apprentice. But they were moving more from plumbing and drain cleaning to plumbing and like HVAC mechanical. So they changed the name of the company to like A&L Mechanical instead of A&L Plumbing. And it looked they were going to get rid of all their drain contracts. So I said to my dad, I was like, man, when you're working for a company that's like me and you were talking about, like with guys and you take care of them, if you're working for a company, more than likely a lot of those big contracts, if you're the only one that's going for that job, they remember you. They don't give a crap about the company. They say Rob's the one that knows the property. He's the one that comes every time. He knows where all the accesses are, whatever. So, and they gave me the blessing anyway. They're like, here, dude, call these people if you want. We'll send you all the drain calls we did, and good luck on your own. And I went and bought some equipment, and here I am.
So, you started it solely on your own right after finishing your apprenticeship there, or did you just.
Yeah,
You
so I
just
did. So I got my journeyman's license there, and then right after there, I just took the jump and went and started my own plumbing, sewer, and drain company. But I really don't feel like I make as much money plumbing after figuring out how much money I made in drains, and then the septic side of it kind of came along afterwards, where I just realized that everybody with a clogged drain was calling their septic guy first, thinking they were full. That guy was making the money to pump it. He was installing a riser and a filter, and then he'd end up getting a replacement on the pipe because he had an excavator, or he'd unclog it with a stick, for Christ's sakes, because he
yeah.
had access to the tank and he's making more money than the rest of us. And I have a lot of big commercial clients too, and they're all on septics by the beach. Because if they put city sewer down there, then it's going to end up like Tampa. You know, where it's like there's big high rises everywhere. So they all have septic systems. So it only made sense to get my foot in the door to have the septic truck where I could say, look, I can take care of your septic system, and I can take care of the drains in the meantime. And then I could sell them on jettings and cameras and yada yada yada.
That's sick. That's like a one-stop drain shop.
And most times when you get in those old places, they don't want to rip the floors or the pipes are old or like we're down by the beach or whatever. But now I can use more of that underground technology too, where I'm the only guy that can get to it and do it, and I know where everything is, I know the problems, and now I can come up with solutions versus shutting them down for a week and having to rip everything out. It's just everything kind of made sense at the same point to like get into that aspect versus plumbing when there's I think 10 or 12 Italians in the area that do plumbing, let alone all the bigger companies in the area too. So it's like everybody knows each other in the area. Just I didn't feel like I'd be too successful with just running plumbing and service by myself when I could kind of go with the niche that I had and I could make money off of.
I remember seeing your post that you did go to do some lining afterwards. Was it it was with Quality Sewers, right? Did you continue doing that lining till this day now?
So I still never took the jump and bought all the equipment. I'm actually in the middle of doing that now because of that school project I was telling you about. I haven't like really needed to go spend all the money and drop to get the equipment because I could call Russ if I needed to get a lining done. I could call my buddy Kevin over about 10, 15 minutes away if I needed a lining done as well. He's got the pipe coating system and patching system, and I got the point patches and everything. So I made things work, or I would, like I said, I love networking. I know everybody. I work with every plumber, every drain cleaner. So inevitably, I'd get it done somehow, and I haven't had to spend the money. But now that I have a bigger contract coming up, it makes sense for me to spend the money, get it done, and now I'll have it paid for, sitting around, and it didn't cost me anything.
Uh,
Like if I could do a job and make the money to pay for it, get the job done, have help getting it done, and put money in my pocket, that's a no-brainer versus dropping 20 or 30 grand and I'm waiting for a job to do it. You know,
I gotcha. So how long has your business been? So you've been working for 10 years, but your business alone, how long has that been?
this is my third year on my own.
This is your third year on your own. How many guys do you currently have?
Three total.
Three total.
Yep.
This must be a good journey.
Yeah, I was ready to hire guys right before this Corona stuff happens, and now it just gets me nervous. Like I was talking to you again earlier about it. It gets me nervous to hire. It's a lot of trust and a lot of heart. You know, do you say how much money you're putting in your pocket now, working every day, you know, and the other investments you have versus, you know, let's take that jump and rely on other guys to go out there every day and do the same job you're doing, keep the same name you have, you know, and that's what I'm afraid of is they're not going to do the job the same way I do it. And my cousin's one of my helpers and his family, and sometimes it sucks working with family, but I love him like a brother, and we grew up that way. And I'm hoping that and he's been learning, you know, slowly. He's not really a plumber. He doesn't like getting his hands dirty sometimes, but he's learning, and I'm hoping that he'll be my sources to trusting the next guy so I can send him out with that person and still know I have eyes on him and it's going to get done. And, you know, I guess it's hard for me to trust somebody with my business and all my expenses.
It is. It is. That's the tough side, especially family and friends, because you know they're a lot closer. You don't want to hurt their feelings. You want to make sure everything's good out of business and everything's good when you're in business. So it's always that fine line that they have to draw themselves, or either that you draw it for them. And
Yeah, I don't feel like I could hire a friend to work with me unless it was like there's like one person I would trust maybe, and then for my cousin working with me, I'm hoping he's going to be like a partner for me eventually. You know what I mean? I hope he'll work with me and we can expand the business. And only because I trust him that way, and I've worked with him forever, and that's how it is. But other than that, I feel like I couldn't do it because, like you said, you get too emotional with friends and family. And
yeah,
I don't.
no, it's always hard. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've gone through a lot
Are
of
you
it
paying?
myself.
Are you paying them enough? Are they talking shit about you behind your back? Are they happy? You know, I don't know. I don't want to deal with that. You know, I'm happy with what I
It's
have.
hard though, because the biggest thing about that, Rob, is no matter what you do, nobody's ever gonna care as much about your business than you.
That's right.
So
That's
that's
right.
why sometimes,
They
depending
might
on who
not
you hire.
wipe down the doorknobs when they leave, or like just sometimes it's like little things that like I do, and I know I'm doing it the right way, and I'm doing it like I want it to be professional. I want to be the best. Like I want to be the absolute best in my area. There's no comparison. You can go buy an expensive pump truck, or you can go spend whatever you want on ads, but at the end of the fucking day, I'm the best. I have everything the best. I work the best. I come looking the best. I want to be the best, and I don't want some guy to come work for me and just like 'cause I have a lot of rental properties. Everybody has money when they come to look at the apartment. They have the best dog. They're the cleanest person. Just like when someone comes to look for a job, they're the hardest worker. They got a great resume. But then once they're in your truck and they rear end somebody, or they mess up a job and something happens, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Uh,
I know what you
Sometimes it's
mean.
like,
It's hard to juggle that, definitely. But
or do I want to work? Do I want to work the rest of my life? I make good money. Don't get me wrong, but do I want to work the rest of my life doing it if I could have somebody else doing it down the road? And it's tough. It's a tough juggle.
yeah, it's about passing that torch, and at the same time, always it's that line, knowing that where they are and what they want for themselves. Because hiring process is always the hardest to make sure people are in the same alignment for goals as you, but at the same time, you also have to find out how they perceive value within their time, or either value within money. This can go really deep, but we'll save it for another day. um, anyway, so I look at your Instagram page a lot, and I think I've kind of met you throughout the past, probably I'd say year and a half to 2 years. And through looking at your page, ever since you began, it was from the Rigid Experience from 2019, correct?
What do you mean since I started talking to everybody? I
No,
honestly
like
never had until Rigid
since
Experience.
from what I remember, since you made your account ever since the Rigid Experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I didn't even have one until Rigid Experience. They're like, hey, post hashtag RigidX 2019, and I was like, what the hell is a hashtag? Like, oh, you got to get Instagram, and Facebook's cool and all, but you got to get Instagram. So I made one, and dude, ever since then, bro, it's been a crazy ride. I'll be dead honest, dude. Like, shout out to Rigid, man. They're great people, bro.
They are. They are.
I don't,
And
dude. I honest to God just got lucky to win. Like everyone's like, oh, you got to buy $1 million in tools, or you got. Bro, it has no relevance to how much money you spend in tools or anything, dude. It's simple. You fill out an application, like a couple questions, you send a picture and a story, whatever, and they pick you. Of course, there's certain influencers they pick, like Coco and those guys, because they want, the people that everyone loves to come and hang out with and stuff. But all the winners that they pick, they just pick. It doesn't matter how much money you spend on tools, dude. It's just a matter of if you're a good guy and you like the industry or,
Yeah.
you're a hard worker or whatever. They just pick a good story and they go.
They,
You
they
know?
definitely they definitely do stuff like that. I think like they choose those guests so that you would be more entertained to
You
go
never
there.
heard about me before that and stuff. It's not like I was someone famous to go on the trip or whatever. I don't have $1 million in tools and stuff, dude. It's just I got lucky. I got to go, and they're good people, man. That was a good trip, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
I definitely can see that. I would like to go for myself, and hopefully I'd be chosen this year. But if not, there's a lot of time. Whatever.
you
I
got
have.
tough with that to make with the new wraps out. And, it's a tough competition out there, bro.
It is, but I got too many trips on my hand to really care. But regardless, they're still good. We're still gonna be supporting them as
You'll
well.
never beat your Japan trip, bro. That had to be the top of the list, you know.
That definitely was. I always enjoyed it. It always goes back to that conversation. That trip was like a life changing experience to be able to see what community really meant.
Yeah, and look at you now. Like since then to now, it had to be a pretty crazy ride.
It has been. Instagram has changed me a lot to really try to, elevate the whole trades in general, not only through Instagram but through other channels, trying to influence properly what good work and quality work is, and where we should be at this moment, and stop looking back into the past of what blue collar was in the past, but changing it to what it should be today.
Yeah.
But
Great.
yeah,
Instagram kind of brings us all together in a great way, dude. It's nuts. It's totally different than Facebook too when you think about it. 'Cause on
it
Facebook,
does.
everyone like jumps on you to like shit on your work or troll or whatever. But I feel like on Instagram, everyone's like, "Hey man, good job, bro. Awesome, you're killing it. Messaging each other, talking and sharing each other's stuff and learning from each other. And
That's
you don't see
exactly how we got to know each
as much
other.
arguing on there. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And then especially at like wet show and stuff, dude. It's nuts like seeing people you've talked online to forever, and then you're at like that rigid dinner or even just there at wet, and everyone's hanging out with each other. And it's like, oh my god, dude, hey, how you doing? Oh my god, dude, it's this person. Like even seeing you, I'm like, oh my god, hey man, like fucking,
Yeah,
everyone got excited to see each other. It was awesome. Then going out to eat with each other and just hanging out it was sweet.
it's a great experience for going from one end to the other
I didn't
end and
care if
being
I
able to
bought
see.
one tool or seen anybody. Just seeing, 15, 20 people you've been talking to for the last couple of years is pretty sweet.
It is sweet. So I'm going to talk about going back to your page about what you use daily. So from what I see, you use daily. Actually, if you guys didn't know, um, Rob right now, are you still holding that 5K giveaway? When is that going?
We actually did it on Saturday.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, you guys can
Yeah.
wait till next
You,
time.
you know what's crazy is I wish I didn't put the post up saying it was Saturday because I was gonna say I should have done it right here. You know what I mean? We should have spun the wheel and gave it away.
That's
But
okay, man. Anything works for me. But if you guys didn't know, yeah. So you are a advocate for rigid because that's what you've been using for your business ever since you started, correct?
yeah, so I used Ken's clog dog at first. I went to the wet show like 3 years ago, I think it was, or 4 years ago. He had a small booth. I just bought a brand new speed rooter, like 92 or something like that. And I was arguing with my dad about the fact that you need like an enclosed drum if you're inside the house. And he's like, "Who gives a fuck?" I'm like, "Dude, you're gonna be spraying shit on someone's floor, dude. You need an enclosed drum." So I was like looking at it, and it's like it had 100 feet of 3/4, 100 feet of 5/8, and 100 feet of 1/2 inch, and you could just pop the drums out, whatever. Pretty heavy. I got it, and like a month later, we went to the wet show. Ken was there, and he was showing how to use the flex shaft, and he's like, "Hey, dude, listen, how many feet is your typical main line, whatever?" He gives me a 25 footer. He's like, "Here, try this out." I bought it. I think it was like 300-400 bucks. Went home. I used it like a couple of times, and I'm like, "Dude, this is so fucking convenient, so easy." And then when I jumped my first house track with it, I'm like, "Holy shit, dude! Like this just like saved me an hour." So I literally got a 50 footer, and then I got a 75 footer, and then at the next wet show, Rigid and Ken combined, and I was like, "Oh, no brainer." I bought the 102 and the 204. And everyone says like, "Oh, my cable broke," or "this happened." So it's like nobody takes the time to use it properly because they see those chains spinning so fast, and they're like, "Oh my god!" They go grab their drill and they throw it on there, and they're like, "I fucking got chains," and they break the fucking thing, dude. They have no idea how to use it. I have had the same cable on mine for the last 2 years and it hasn't broke. I think the last 6 inches was like getting flimsy just because I use it so damn much, and I cut it off, and weld it and put my chains back on it. But
I could
to
say the
use it
same.
properly, dude, it
You
saves
know
me
what?
so much time, so much money. I literally use it I don't have cables in my truck anymore. I have the 102, the 204, the 306, my jetter for like long commercial runs or whatever, and that's it. If I can't
Wow.
clear with the chain, something's wrong, bro.
So you're going straight. You took out all your cables now, so you don't even do like you don't even do sectionals.
I have a sectional, but I don't carry it anymore. And I honestly I have the drum with the cable in it now, and I keep the drill like the whole hog with the adapter and stuff. But I can't even tell you the last time I used it. I really can't. Like I would
Really?
take it off the truck, but then I know my luck, I'll need it for something coincidentally after all these years. But I don't
That
need it.
always
Dude,
happens.
if there's a house trap, I'm hopping in and I'll get it cleared. If it's a soft blockage, you got to put a little water behind it. Of course, you're going to just be mushing up the toilet paper or whatever the hell's in there. Put a little water behind it so that the moment you clear it, it can get flowing. And you have the camera behind it. You're going to see what the problem is afterwards, after you clear it. So if it's roots in a joint, you can clear it up afterwards. But you're at least going to get it flowing so much damn faster. And then you can open up that clean out cap and not make a mess. Like, I've never been able to jump a 2-inch laundry trap to get into the main line to clear it before with my speed router or with the cable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now, so I can just say, oh, there's a laundry line. I'm not going to open that clean out under pressure. There's no clean out outside. And I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not selling a clean out to a customer at 10 o'clock at night when everyone gives that answer. Like, oh, sell them a clean out. It's like, be realistic. You're not doing that. Like, so
Oh
hop
man, I
back,
love I
you get
love
it.
Instagram for that. Why don't you sell a new line? Why don't you dig a new line? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Well, I mean, why don't you come in my shoes first
we,
and then ask that
we
question?
all want to be great salesmen and make a ton of money. We have our sales tactics and or how we relate with a customer or whatever. But being realistic, dude, if you're going there for a blocked line, they're not trying to spend $1 million to put a clean out and outside. It's 10 o'clock at night. You're trying to clear the blockage. If there's no clean out outside, it is so much easier to be able to jump that 2-inch trap to get in the main and get it flowing, then open that cap and make no mess. And you're a lot smarter than the idiot that would have came there and flooded the basement with shit.
Or they
You
want to
know?
just dig a line out. People don't understand digging a line out all the time. Not everybody wants to destroy their lawn. Not
I
everybody
seen
wants to
somebody
call the
calling you
city.
on one of your posts for like a kitchen line and stuff, and they're like, "Why wouldn't they replace it?" And you're like, "Bro, I came in afterwards. I didn't install the damn line. Like I'm giving the guy options, and your only option is how I should have somehow went back in time and told the original plumber to put in new piping." You know what I mean? Like it didn't make any sense. Like so there's always one troll, dude. I don't give a fuck where it is. There's always one.
Hey, I always like to put them in their place just because I have the time to
Yeah, you
do
went
it.
right. I've seen you going after him every time, but I forgot who it was, but I seen somebody being an
I go
asshole.
after every one of those messages to make sure that they know what circumstances are, right? Because half of them that just talk aren't people who actually own a business, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have to know that the life of an entrepreneur is different from the life of what you just get told to do every day. I'm not saying there's a difference between the two, like, on the level scale, but I'm saying, like, there's differences on how you would deal with the circumstance versus just thinking everything just new. You can't just do new stuff every time because money is a factor, time's a factor, and the customer is another factor.
The problem is they're not smart enough to think about that. But back to what you're asking, dude, I love my flex shaft. It makes it so much easier, and that's why, like, like I don't mind if somebody uses a Cody or customized whatever. Do whatever works for you works for you. It's just
Whatever
I'm
clears
going
that
off what
drain.
I'm going off what I use every day and what I personally like. Like, dude, Picote is great for descaling and for lining and that whole system. Like, if that's what you're doing. But if you're cleaning drains, Rigid's it's a no-brainer at the price, dude. It's just it literally is. Like, I get customized. Some people like it. I'm not dogging it, but it's drain cable and it's a little stiffer. It's not doing the same thing as the flex shaft. It's just simply not the same. Like, you know what I mean? If it works,
Hey,
dude, good for you, bro. Whatever
hey,
works to make your money, dude. I'm just saying what makes my job easier.
they're good products. They last a very long time, even for my flex shop. I don't know how people have used them. Maybe there's defective ones. I don't know, but mine hasn't broken yet either, and I've had it for 2 years.
Yeah, and the camera too, dude. When I first got started, and I was saying this to the guy that stopped by last night, I didn't know any better of what was better. Like I thought, as long as I had these features, I was good. Like I had a self leveling, I had color, and I had a battery and whatever. I thought it was good, but you didn't know. Like you knew rigid was the standard, but you didn't realize the difference in the quality of the picture and the sending of the videos, and just knowing you have a reliable camera every job is, dude, it's worth every penny. But you
Hey,
don't know that in the beginning when you're getting started. And I wasn't on Instagram either at the time. So like, a lot of people can come on here now and at least ask a million questions or get like people message me every day and I'll say, dude, give me your info. I'll hook you up with a rep if you want. Whatever company you're looking for, dude, if I have a connection with it, like, Warthog or Cody, Rigid, whatever. If I have a connection with it, I'm happy to share it with you. That's the whole point of networking. You know what I mean? So I wish I had that when I first got started, where someone was like, "Hey, dude, just contact this person, and they'll come give you a demo." And I could have seen the difference, and it would have been a no-brainer not to waste the money on some junk when I first got started. And it's just sitting here in my garage now, and now I have 3 machines in my truck that I make money with every single day. So I
That's
would have never knew about it if I didn't network or talk to other people.
That's
I would have
literally the same shit I say every day. I tell people, if you want to learn, you want to know the next things coming into the trade, don't even search on Google, for fuck's sakes. Just literally go on Instagram. And I'm not saying go on Instagram for fun. Like, actually use it as a working tool. Use it to search things that you're interested in. Use it to actually learn, and then message the pioneers in the industry.
you're literally seeing like real time action. Like you're seeing that tool in the job. You know what I mean? It's a lot different than even going to YouTube. And you can have a guy message you, and he'll, more likely the next day he's going to be posting up the fact that he's even using it. You know what I mean? Like some
Yeah.
people ask about jetters, and there's Billy using that US jetter every single day. So it's like, dude, if you want to see how it works, just watch his newsfeed every day.
It's
You
even
know?
going to be better than messaging the manufacturer, for real.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're giving you real time job right there. Their real experience. Like, and they really don't care to lie to you, dude. Even if someone's an influencer, dude. Like, I get they might get something for free sometimes, dude. But they're gonna show you what they're using it on. You'd have to be stupid to not see the difference. Like, you know what I mean? If they're not using that tool at real jobs, then of course they're just posting it because they got it for free. But if you're watching their story or their post and you see they're using it every day on real jobs, then it's obvious it's a good tool for you. You know what I mean? You can figure it out yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you can see it's breaking a lot, whatever. You can search a hashtag, and I'm sure everyone would post how many times they broke their chains or how many times they were successful with them. You know?
Yep, and that's how everybody found us. So I'm gonna move on to the next question that I got for you. Other than drains, is there anything else that you like to do that's within that plumbing realm, or is it just like you love drains so much you strictly do drains?
Drains and septics. Septics makes a ton of money for me. It's a good add-on to the whole drain part of it. So whether it's just pumping the tank and adding risers to it, adding a filter, sending the camera down the outlet to see how the distribution box is working and how the whole drain field's going, if it needs to get a jetting or it needs to get the D-box needs to get clean. There's just more work getting in past the fact of from the house to the septic tank or the house to the street, and there being a clog. If I can make more money off the fact that now there's another system outside that I can work on and I can make more money off of, and I'm going to be the all-in-one service that if your septic backs up, I can pump it. If your drain gets clogged, I can clear it. If you need to get a new one installed, or you need a new system installed, or you need to update it, you got to get an inspection or whatever. Because in our area, there's every 2 years you got to get your septic inspected in certain towns.
Oh,
You have to
really?
get yeah, so and you got to fill out the forms and do it online, and you can only dump in certain areas, whatever. So because of that, everyone's expecting to have a septic truck pull up every 2 years and do an inspection and a pumping, and then that's the same person they're going to call when it clogs up, when their alarm goes off, when their grinder pump fails, when their effluent pump fails, whatever. So it's just there's money to be made. Why not make it?
That's awesome. Well, what about the
And I haven't
opposite?
had a good commercial account that just needed to get pumped, so the guy kept avoiding it, and that's when I took the jump to get it, and then I got more into the residential side of it too. But
Hell yeah,
commercial,
take what they don't want.
right? Exactly. It opened a lot of doors for me. I'll tell you that.
What's the opposite of something you like to do? So if you're not when you're doing plumbing regularly, like what's something that you actually hate to do and you try to avoid that?
Forced main systems, like forced main grinder pumps. I hate those systems. You guys have those up there?
Not really. Are you talking kind of like the grinder sump pumps where you kind of it grinds all the shit inside and it just pushes all that crap and slopes back down?
No. So it's kind of like the same situation, but in the front of the yard there'll be a pit, so everything drains into the pit. Right? Like say you have a 4-inch main or whatever, dumps into the pit, and then the pump it's a grinder pump, and it'll force into like an 1.25 inch or 1.5 inch line into a forced main going all uphill into the city. So there'll be like
Oh,
check valves, 2 shut-offs. Like people have a check valve blow, and now their whole fucking house is filling up with shit. Because
so it's practically like a septic, but for like a way lower level than what the city's at, and then it just forces
it's
it
like a
into the.
small septic with a grinder pump pushing it into the city. Yeah. And it's always under pressure, so it's a pain in the ass. And then when those check valves blow, or you get idiots that put a whole development in and they put a grinder pump in with PVC, no no hangers or nothing. So every time that pump goes off, it just jerks, and eventually that check valve breaks. And then when one breaks on the street, instead of the town putting another check valve in, they'll put a shutoff in. So now there's only one check valve. There's no redundant check valve. So when that other check valve breaks, their house is filling up with shit, or that pit pump's filling up with shit all over their yard. And
Man.
then when you get there, you got to wait for the town to come shut it off, because if you touch the valve, you're liable. And then the whole yard's filled with shit, and you got to pump it out. Then you got to find the grinder pump, and you got to hope it's even properly sized. And you got to hope the guy that installed it even filled out the paperwork with the town. You know how it is when you get guys that don't do things right, and then it screws the next guy, because nobody ever thinks about the next guy. No one cares to put a clean out in, or put access in, or put the right pump in, or and then we get stuck with it when we're servicing it. So I hate this.
That sounds like a procedure, and I would hate it too. We're lucky we don't have it, and even if we do, I'm not in that jurisdiction where we handle it. We're in we're kind of in the rural area, not the rural, sorry, the more urban area where none of that's here anymore, and everything just gravity fed.
See, that's nice.
It is. We don't even have a lot of septic systems over here like you do, other than like way out east.
The houses actually have cleanouts outside in your area?
No, that's another thing we don't have. So our code only calls for a 4-inch cleanout when it enters the house.
So there's always one in the basement, and that's it?
Yep. And then the rest depends on the plumber where he wants to put them.
Yeah. If I install a line, I always put one in outside, but if you get a lot of older houses, same thing. They have it just inside, and that's it. So it sucks.
That's the hardest part, right? You can't just...
When I see like some people's Instagrams, bro, and they're like jetting everything from outside. Their kitchens have outside cleanouts right on the wall, and
those
like
are
in California,
nice.
Like jetters and drains and drain mop. Every time they're clearing a lane, there's like a clean out outside. There's even a 2-way if they wanted it. There's a clean out outside for the kitchen. And I'm like, bro, they got it golden out there, dude.
They got it good. That's why they just go in and they call it the yetter, and they just get the hell out of there.
Dude, that's why they can jet everything, dude. I'd be scared to be jet from inside where I'm at sometimes, because they just make a mess, I don't have any outside access. Especially
those commercial buildings you're talking about. Like, I'd be scared. Like, how am I gonna do it if, let's just say, that toilet main line is clogged, but it's from grease from downstairs? Do I start throwing a jetter in and then wait for the water to come back up the flange when I'm like 3 stories high?
I do one of the number 1 resorts in the world. And every time I go to clear the drains, I'm shitting myself inside that I'm hoping that jetter doesn't pop out somewhere else and make a mess or flood something. I'm dead serious. Like, I'm always nervous because they pay so much money to go there and eat. When I pull my septic truck up, it's like kind of near the kitchen area, and I'm always nervous someone's going to smell it. Like, I put this cherry stuff in there just to try to make it better. Like, I try to make it like I'm invisible while I'm there because they pay me a lot of money and do well, but I'm always nervous there's going to be something somehow or another when I'm jetting that main and I'm on the other side of the property that something's going to happen over there. And it's going to be expensive because the whole place is so nice that I know my insurance policy is going to get hit hard.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And sometimes you don't even want to be part of that because, at the same time, you want to touch it, but you don't want to touch it because of what you said, insurance. And the thing is about insurance, they're always going to be like, you're the guy who caused it. But like, dude, what the fuck?
Even if you did, you got to go to court and argue it, or you got to show the proof, and you got to go back and forth. It ain't worth the hassle sometimes.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So I'm going to pull something out from your Instagram that I was pretty interested in, and I actually want to know a story about it. So I'm going to let the guy see. I think I showed it to you before, but right here we have a picture of, I don't even know what this is, but you're inside a pit, it looks like. What are you doing in this picture?
So that's a crust buster. So what it does is it agitates and like mixes all the solids in the septic tank.
Yep.
So in a septic tank, you got 3 layers. You probably already know whatever, but in a septic tank, there's 3 layers. So there's the sewage on the bottom, you got effluent in the middle, and on top that like sewage, you see that's a scum layer.
Yep.
So when I'm doing like the ocean house or like a big hotel, they'll have like 3 to 4 feet thick of a grease layer on top, or there'll be a lot of sewage on top. And when I'm pumping those systems in those pictures, it's a 160,000 gallon system. It's the biggest in the state. And I also have to pull up 50 feet vertically. Most septic trucks can only do 30 feet vertically high. So what I have to do is bring a towable compressor, and I hook up 3/4 inch air hose to a power booster, and it goes on the end of my septic hose. So now when my septic hose is pulling, it also has air behind it to help. So I can pull up to 100 feet vertically. That's another thing that separates me from my competition is my septic truck can do what their truck does, but I can also pull those long runs or, wicked deep pulls or, things that their truck can't do. just by having that expensive tool. And then having the crust buster, I'm able to mix it all. So a lot of these old school pumpers, they'll pump out the tank, and then after the tank's full, they'll send it back. They'll call it backwashing it. So they'll send the water back in to start agitate all the solids, or they'll sit in there with a big spoon and they're sitting there forever trying to mix it up. And some old guys swear by it. Don't get me wrong. They're sitting there with a hose, or they got their helper inside the tank with the hose, and they're sitting there raking it up, and then they finally pump it. And half the time there's still like a huge layer of solids on the bottom. So they really didn't do anything. They just made it look good. And the customer's like, "Oh my God, this guy's got a massive spoon, and he's sitting there. He's not doing shit." So what I have is it goes in there and it mixes the whole tank up. So like 1,000-gallon tank, you can mix in 5 minutes. It turns into a complete slurry. You could just drop the hose in there, and by the time you're done, the tank's literally empty. You could just spray it down and be over with. But all those chunks are gone. And that power booster also like has so much power that I could take a chunk and just suck it right up anyway. But just having the right tools for the right applications, you know what I mean? So when I'm at one of those crazy septic systems, it would make no sense just to pump the water out and let all the solids drop to the bottom and then not be able to suck them out. So while I'm pumping it, you always got to drop the level down because you don't want to mix it and then send all the nasty grease and slurry on top out the outlet to the drain field. So you pump it down a little bit, you mix it, and then it just makes pumping easier. So if you take 2 minutes to pick up the truck and do it, it'll mix the tank up. And you don't need it on every application, but it's good to have it there for some residential houses that haven't pumped their tank in 10 to 20 years and the solids are so thick. Because at the end of the day, when you pump down all the water, you're going to have a real thick layer of solids that now you're going to have to keep backwashing or mixing up with a spoon, and it takes forever if you're going to pump the tank properly. So on commercial applications and grease, it makes it so much easier. I'm sure you've seen some nasty grease traps like outside of like a restaurant.
I have.
And especially those ones in like the driveway, and that grease can be pretty thick. So a lot of those guys they'll pump it down a little bit and they'll mix it up into a complete slurry, and then they pump it up, and it's just so much easier on their pump. It's easier on their truck.
That's actually good to know. I actually didn't know anything about this picture. We never do septics enough to even get to that place, but it's good to learn.
Most people don't realize either on a septic that there's 3 covers, or at least 2. They see one cover in the yard, and that's where the pumper's been pumping from for so long that they say, "Yep, that's the cover," and they don't realize that there's an inlet baffle and an outlet baffle. And when it comes to a clog, it's a lot easier for me to access the drain from the septic tank inlet and go upwards. So now I can see the clog with my camera if I wanted to and clear it and watch it come flowing down because I love watching it and hearing it pop. Or just the fact that I'm not making a mess because I'm able to get into it from the septic tank, hit the blockage, and send it all into the septic tank without even entering your basement, just because you have access to your septic tank inlet. If it's a mainline blockage, it just saves so much time. It's so much easier, And same for the outlet. You have your access to your filter if there is one there. And I don't know. Some people just don't realize how to take care of their system. They don't realize how expensive it is, and they don't realize when they're buying a place either that that's probably the most expensive thing they're ever going to have to replace, and they neglect it until it backs up, and they're like, "Holy shit, I got to spend 40 grand on this system." Right?
It's crazy. True. So I got one last question for you. Are you going to be at the Wet Show again next year?
Absolutely.
Really?
I try to go every year. Yeah. I like going. Real quick. My father is 53 or 54 years old. He's got 30 properties. He's a multimillionaire, and don't post this part if you can somehow, because I don't want him to get mad if he ever sees this. But he's, rich, and he does well for himself. He's worked his ass off for me and my sisters and my mother. Never been on a vacation. Never left the state. Never does anything. So when I started this business and we were doing well, and whatever, I'm like, dude, we got to go to this thing called the Wet Show. Like, it's in Indiana. Like, we can have a good time. Blah blah blah. And I was surprised he even said yeah. And I think it was just to get away for a little bit. And he loved it. We had a good time. And now every year it's like our thing just to go. And like we bring my uncle now too, he drives my septic truck for me when I need him. He's my mechanic as well. And it's just nice to have like a little family trip, and then get to see all you guys too. But it's just
becomes a tradition.
Yeah, so every year I like to go with him. And now I'm trying to make it so that we go to the Hacks meet too. I'm trying to make like 3 business trips a year where me and him, because he's my partner and stuff, if we can go to the Hacks meet, or if we can go to Wet Show, or we went to Clock Squat training, or I want to go to California too, so I'm hoping there's something out there. But if we can have a good time together, then why not?
That's awesome. Well,
I think I'm gonna go to the Rigid Factory in Virginia soon, so I was gonna try to bring him there because I want to go see like the flex shafts made and stuff. I don't know if it's possible, but I'm like I'm asking like, hey man, can I go, see it made? Like I want to go to the actual factory. Like the one we went to in Ohio was cool, but there's another factory, and I want to, like, I'm a drain guy, so it was cool
Yeah.
to see pipe edges and everything else. But I like to see like the flex shafts made. I guess there's like some real old lady that's been there for like 40 or 50 years, and she makes like every K60 or every K4. Like she makes like every one of those machines. It'd be cool to meet the lady that made, every drain machine ever used, or see it made. So I want to go there next too, and I'd love to bring my dad. So.
That'd be awesome. That'd be definitely a nice trip. So, anyway, we are at the closing of the show. I don't want to make the episodes too long, so we're just going to end it off very soon. I just want to say thank you once again, Rob, for joining us today at Coffee of Impetus. It was great to listen to, all your endeavors and everything that you've been doing through drainage and the tools that you use. And dude, it definitely opened my eyes because I haven't ever seen anything that you've used or you're doing, or anything of that sort that you do over there. We're completely different over here, so it was definitely eye-opening. I do appreciate your time here, and before you leave, what do you want to say to the audience, or anything that you would want to let them know of anything special that's upcoming on you for you?
I have something that I've been hesitating on posting, so I'll post it soon. I'll show you guys something new that I got. But I don't know, keep working hard and doing your thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. We'll
Thank
let
you.
everybody know, and we'll wait for your post.
All right.
All right.
I've
Thank
been
you guys for joining Coffee of Impetus again. We'll be back next week with plumbing solvers at 4 p.m. PST. And thank you for Rob coming today again.